Hey, how are you? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Drew, aka Booty Sweat, and once again we're doing another tier list. I've just kind of been nostalgic for some of the older Mortal Kombat games, which I think is what led me to do the last one of all the characters. This time we're going to rank every single Mortal Kombat game, and I have reordered them here on this tier list before you. On the bottom you see from left to right, they are actually in the release date order. So we're going to go from the very first Mortal Kombat that ever came out all the way up to Mortal Kombat 11 and rank each one either as amazing, good, okay, or terrible. Or there's going to be two that fit into this one, never played. So there's only two that I've ever not played, and they'll just go there because I'm not going to make a comment on a game that I've never played, even if historically it's considered this or that. If I haven't played it, I'm not going to form an opinion on it. So the first one that we're going to talk about is the original Mortal Kombat. So the original Mortal Kombat has not aged super well. However, it can still be fun to just kind of go back and mess around with, and I am still going to put it in good tier because I want to put some respect on its name. Without it, we wouldn't have any of the other Mortal Kombats that came after, obviously. And you know, it was revolutionary for its time. The graphics were great at the time. The gameplay was something else. The violence and the gore and all that kind of stuff was all new. It was all innovative and original. So yeah, you gotta give credit where it's due, and we're definitely gonna put Mortal Kombat there. The only reason why I don't put it any higher is because Mortal Kombat 2 exists. And really, when you have Mortal Kombat 2, there's not a whole lot of reason to ever even play Mortal Kombat 1. So I'm going to put Mortal Kombat 2 above this, but the reason I'm not putting it any higher actually is basically it was just an overall improvement to the original Mortal Kombat. Better graphics, more characters, better gameplay overall, better sound, all of this different kind of stuff. They introduced characters that, you know, later that would become, you know, mainstay staples, characters like Jax and the female ninjas and you know, whatever, Baraka, Kano, whatever characters you want to talk about. But several iconic characters were introduced in Mortal Kombat 2. But again, I'm going to put it just in good because, again, it hasn't really aged the best in my opinion because a little game called Mortal Kombat 3 came out afterward. And I think Mortal Kombat 3, I'm just going to go ahead and put I'm going to just put both of these in here. Mortal Kombat 3, specifically Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3, is actually my favorite Mortal Kombat game of all time. When you go from playing Ultimate MK3 to playing like Mortal Kombat 2 or the original Mortal Kombat, it's pretty shocking the difference in quality in my opinion. I think MK3 is just so much better. It's leaps and bounds better. It is far and away, well, I won't say far and away, but it is definitely my favorite Mortal Kombat game of all time. It might even be like in my top 2 or 3 favorite fighting games of all time. Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3 is amazing. Mortal Kombat Trilogy brought all of those to the PlayStation, and I think I'm just going to put it there just by default because it brings all 3 of these games to the PlayStation, and I think it came out on the N64 as well. I do believe the N64 version got some flack because they cut out some characters to include more game modes or something like that, but if I remember correctly, I didn't ever have it on N64, but yeah, it's gonna go there because I mean it has UMK3 in it and it has Mortal Kombat 2 and Mortal Kombat 1. The only reason I won't put it at the top is because it seems unfair. Like, it is just those games with a couple of updates, not a whole lot of updates, but a little bit of updates. So, you know, overall, I think it's cool, and it definitely is an amazing game to have. Mortal Kombat Mythologies. Now, I am a huge lore nerd. I love lore. I love storytelling. I like to write my own stories. I love to read and listen to stories. I think the art of storytelling and world building and all these kinds of things, it's one of the reasons why I love D&D as much as I do. All of that stuff is just really fascinating to me. It's really stimulating for me. And so the idea behind this game, I respect a lot. The idea was we're going to expand on the Mortal Kombat universe. We're going to expand on the mythology, if you will, of the Mortal Kombat universe with mythologies. And it was going to be like a kind of sub-series, like a spin-off series. And I assume they were going to do other characters as well. I think that's what has been discussed. But the problem was the execution in this game is just so awful. So this is a game that was a huge disappointment when it came out because the idea behind it just an action platformer where you just played as Sub-Zero. It would be like playing Ninja Gaiden or something, or Shinobi, but you were gonna be Sub-Zero, and it was gonna like have characters from Mortal Kombat and kind of build on that world and all that kind of, sounded so sick. And then the game came out and was just a wet fart. It just sucked. The execution is so off in this game. It just is terrible. It's a chore to play. It's miserable to play. It just sucks. And the FMV cutscenes are kind of like so bad it's good nowadays. Like, they're fun to laugh at, but at the time it was like, what am I looking at? So now the good news is this game did introduce Quan Chi, and Quan Chi quickly became one of my beloved characters from the franchise. I do love Quan Chi, so there's that. It also had Serena in it, and she's pretty cool too. Mortal Kombat 4 is okay. I'm just gonna put it toward the bottom of okay. I don't think that it's the worst game of all time, but actually, you know what? I might put it in it's pretty terrible. Mortal Kombat 4 is pretty terrible, but Mortal Kombat Gold I think is a little better. So Mortal Kombat Gold was the Dreamcast version of Mortal Kombat 4. That was like, I think it was also on other consoles, but I know it was like a launch title for the Dreamcast. And it was like an updated version of 4. So the game it looks better overall. Like, graphically it looks nicer than 4. It's crisper. They added some like a little bit of gameplay changes here and there. It runs a little better. It feels a little better to play. So I'll put it in okay, because I don't think it's the worst game ever made. It's still not good, but it definitely improved on 4, and 4 is pretty terrible, let's be real. However, 4 is not as terrible as Special Forces, and Special Forces barely is better than Mythologies, I think. I hate this game. I think a lot of people, most people who've played this game, most people who are Mortal Kombat fans who've been playing it through the ages, probably just choose to pretend this game doesn't exist for the most part. It was another spin-off title where the idea was to like expand on the lore with a different genre of game. Only again, the execution was horribly off. It's a really generic action game that feels just really bad to play, in my opinion. I went back and played it recently just to try to revisit it. Same with Mythologies. I say recently, this was probably a year or two ago. But it just is, it's worse now than it was when it came out, for sure, if that makes sense at all. And then finally, I think to round out the games that go in the terrible lineup, we're going to have Mortal Kombat Advance. Mortal Kombat Advance is just awful. I don't know if any of you have ever played it. It was the UMK3 port of, or to the Game Boy Advance. So it is basically UMK3. Problem is all of the violence is toned down and it controls like poopy. It looks terrible, even for a GBA game. It looks terrible. There's some really quality looking games on the Game Boy Advance. The Game Boy Advance is probably, in my opinion, the best handheld of all time. It has some wonderful games and some games that look just so good. Look at any of like the Fire Emblem games or any of the Pokemon games or any of those. There's this game called Dragon Ball Advanced Adventure. Looks so good, and then you have this stinker and it just looks like crap, and it plays like crap, and it is crap, so it's terrible. Next we have Mortal Kombat Deadly Alliance. Deadly Alliance is okay. I think that it gets a bad rap, and in fact you're gonna actually see me place one. Probably a lot of people are gonna click off once they find out where I place another one of the 3D games, but Mortal Kombat Deadly Alliance is okay. It's not great, but it's okay. It's fine, in my opinion. I don't really know what else to say about it. The story's a little bland. They really did do something interesting with it by killing off Liu Kang in it, and so that's pretty cool, but I think overall it's just kind of boring, and the whole like the implementing like the styles and switching styles for like combos and stuff that was brought into this game, and it wasn't really refined yet until Deception. So I think that Deadly Alliance is okay, but not great. Mortal Kombat Deception is probably my third favorite Mortal Kombat game of all time. Maybe fourth. Yeah, probably fourth. It's in my top 5 for sure. I love Mortal Kombat Deception. It gets a seriously bad rap, but it introduced some pretty cool characters, and it's so fun. I love to play it. I think that competitively, you know, when you're really sweating against another player, it can be really, really fun to play. Yes, it's kind of broken. Yeah, all that stuff. But so is MK9. Although MK9 is better than Deception. But so the reason I say people are going to click off this video is because Deception I definitely put higher than a lot of other games that people would probably say are way better than Deception, but I love Deception. It has a special place in my heart. The Conquest story mode is so good. I went back and played it recently, and it's so corny and terrible, but in the most nostalgic and charming way. I freaking love it. Deception, definitely top 5. I think that it is, however, below Shaolin Monks. So I will put Shaolin Monks here. Shaolin Monks is so dope. I desperately want an update to Shaolin Monks, either an HD remaster or a follow-up game, or both would be nice. I think that Shaolin Monks is just such an underrated gem. Everyone who plays it seems to like it, but it just feels like nobody's ever talking about it. So Shaolin Monks, if for those of you who don't know, is a co-op or single player kind of adventure beat 'em up style gameplay game that follows Liu Kang and Kung Lao on this storyline as they and you have to fight like in the Nether Realm, and you have to fight and defend the Wuxi temple from the Tarkatan invasion. You have to do all this stuff, and then you could like unlock Sub-Zero and Scorpion and play as them, and just a really cool game. Definitely one of the best Mortal Kombat games of all time, in my opinion. Armageddon I'm gonna put in like good. I don't think it was definitely worse than Deception, in my opinion, but it's better than Deadly Alliance. So I think it goes in good. It's just fine. It's kind of like a 7.5 out of 10 or something. Like, it's, you know, the fatality system is really lame and all that kind of stuff. But overall, the game plays pretty well, and it is kind of overall in most places kind of an improvement over Deception, and it has every character in the franchise in it. So as a playable character. So that's really cool as well. But it definitely has a lot of flaws that I think keep it from being anything higher than just good. Mortal Kombat Unchained. This is the first one that goes on the Never Played. I didn't have a PSP. This was the PlayStation Portable port of Deception, I think. Either Deadly Alliance or Deception. I don't know. Didn't play it. I didn't have a PSP, so that's just going to go there. I don't know if it was any good or not. Mortal Kombat versus DC Universe, I think, is okay. I actually think this game's a little bit better than Deadly Alliance. In my opinion, I don't think it's the worst game ever made. It is kind of, I mean, it's kind of bad, but it's definitely not as bad as Mortal Kombat 4 or any of these turds that are in the terrible tier. It's definitely not as bad as those. At the time, the game looked kind of nice, and although it has some silliness to it, you know, the Wonder Woman Cooch Copter and all that kind of stuff, although it had that stuff, it also had some charming things and some interesting things that made it kind of fun to play every once in a while. So I'm just going to put it in okay tier. Mortal Kombat 9 is my second favorite Mortal Kombat game of all time. So it really revived the series in a big way, of course, we all know that. But if you haven't gone back and played MK9 recently, you really should. It's so fun to play. It's a freaking blast. I think it's more fun than MKX or MK11. I think both of those games are worse than MK9. But overall, not that they're bad, but overall I think definitely MK9 is definitely probably my second favorite. I think that UMK3 still edges it out. And for those of you who haven't, you need to play Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3. Download Fightcade right now and play this game. It is so sick. Get your hands on this game however you have to. I don't condone piracy or anything like that, but definitely you need to get your hands on this game and play it somehow, some way. Look up some YouTube videos of people playing this game at a high level at like tournaments and stuff. Nothing matches the hype of UMK3 in my opinion. It's so fast. It has a 2v2 mode where, you know, you have to beat both of your opponent's characters to win the round. It's not a tag mode. It's only where like one of them comes out after the other is defeated. Man, it's so hype. It's so good to watch. It's really satisfying. The combos in it are super sick. The sound effects in it are hilarious. Like, it's just a really dope game, and you need to check it out. But MK9 is also super good and really hype. MKX I think also is good. I'm probably gonna put it above MK2. I don't like it as much as okay, I haven't really played it that much. So here's my disclaimer. For those of you who are getting ready to storm my house and, you know, whatever, because I put MKX below Deception. I have played Deception for probably 2,000 hours throughout my life. I've played it a lot. MKX I have played for like 20, period. I didn't play it when it came out. I didn't like the way it looked. I still don't like the way it looks, although I have been having fun with it. So I do think that it's fun and it's a good game. My problem with MKX is how ugly it is. It's just so ugly. The animations are really bad. Not that the graphical fidelity is bad, it's the art style. The art style, everything's washed out. Everything's brown and gray, and it just looks grimy. When the character starts sweating and stuff, they get like these beads of sweat all over them, makes them look like that giant goosebumps. It's really weird looking. The game overall is just really weird looking, and that said, it is very good still. I do still think that is a very good game, but I do have to say that I like Deception better. So sue me if you don't like it, lump it. Mortal Kombat X Mobile, I've never played the mobile game. I've never played MKX Mobile, so I'm gonna put it down there. I assume it's trash like almost every gacha style mobile game is. I just haven't played it. And then I'm going to put finally Mortal Kombat 11 in good. I do like, thus far from what I've played of MKX, this may change, but I have played hundreds of hours of MK11 and I definitely like it better than MKX from what I've played of MKX. Not by a whole lot. MKX definitely has a lot of things in it that I like, that I actually think are better than MK11. I definitely like combo breakers, for instance, much better than the breakaway system. Breakaway sucks. Breakaway's trash. The wake up system's trash. I like that in MKX there's like actual Oki and stuff. I'm almost talking myself out of this, to be honest with you. I'm gonna stick to my guns for now, but you may hear me singing a different tune in a couple months after I've been playing this enough, because I definitely am going to keep playing this because Reptile is really fun to play in this game and I've been really enjoying it. And there are definitely a lot of things about it that feel better than MK11. So check back with me in a couple months and I might be saying MKX is better than MK11, but for now I'm just going to put them here. Either way, I don't think they go in the same tier as my top 5 favorite games. Yeah, my top 5 favorite Mortal Kombat games. Did I only put 4 in Amazing? Yeah, I guess so. Oh well. It doesn't go in Amazing tier. Neither of them go in Amazing tier, in my opinion. But they're both really good. And they're kind of neck and neck right now, and I almost just convinced myself to switch them. So, you know, whatever. Anyway, this is just my opinion. Like it, dislike it, whatever you want to do. Ultimate Mortal Kombat, for sure. Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3, 100% if you haven't played it, you've got to play it. MK9, 100% if you haven't played it, you got to play it. I think you have to play Shaolin Monks. I don't know if Deception is a must play or not. I would say it is because I love it. And it's really fun to watch high level play, like high level tournament play of that game as well. You'll be amazed like how fun it is to watch. Hopefully I didn't offend you. If I did, I actually don't care, but let me know in the comments down below anyway. All right, have a good one. Be blessed.